Here's my review of Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. I thought this movie was just incredible. I'm so glad the MCU finally has a banger movie after so long, and I think that this is probably one of the top 5 best movies. This movie mainly follows Rocket, and as we learn more about his backstory, and the High Evolutionary is probably one of the coldest villains that we've seen in the entire MCU. He's basically a Victor Frankenstein, but for, like, animals. And the majority of this movie is learning about Rocket, but also just like kind of seeing like why, like the whole reason why High Evolutionary is kind of mad at Rocket is because he's smarter than him, and it just shows how like a simple thing could just like almost just narcissism could just drive someone insane, and that's how he was, and how he's just trying to play God. And I just thought that this was just an amazing movie, along with like having some of the best emotional beats in the entire MCU, with Gamora coming back from Endgame and her not knowing who Peter is, and then Peter still being in love with her, and it doesn't really work out because it can't work out. And there are just so many heartbreaking moments in this movie. And whether it's like in the flashbacks to see Rocket and see how he was made and see how he was tortured, and we get to see his friends, who he considered family, in the cages when he was captured by the High Evolutionary, like his girlfriend, basically Lila the Otter, and we see how closely he was with his friends. And then when she dies, like I almost cried myself because James Gunn is just so good at writing these characters. And I will say, like, if I had like one bad thing to say about this movie, I think that the placement of Adam Warlock kind of felt out of nowhere. Like, because they introduced the Sovereign in Guardians 2, and then Adam Warlock in the post-credits scene, and it kind of feels like they kind of just forgot about this by the time this movie came out. And this movie does have like a fake out death with Peter, and I do think they should have actually killed him, but he does return to Earth, and he does see like his grandfather, and it's just like gets you really choked up. And because you know that this is going to be the last time they're going to be seeing these characters. And a lot of things like on Drax staying on Nowhere, and with his close friendship that he formed with Mantis in the holiday special, and Mantis wants to go do her own thing, like Drax is kind of like sad, and like even though none of the main Guardians died, like you still feel so sad that we're not going to get to see them again. And I just think that this is probably one of the best MCU movies since Endgame. I think it's better than Spider-Man No Way Home, and I just thought it was just an incredible emotional movie. It was hilarious, heartbreaking, and horrifying at parts, and I just loved it. Go watch it.